Hello, welcome to day 30 in this PHP Web Framework vlog series. Sorry I haven't done a video in a very long time. Gonna get back to it now on a regular basis. So the previous thing that we did was having the ability to be able to easily remove external libraries, because most of the actual space required by the PHP Web Framework do need a better name for this. So suggest some names. I'm gonna think about it. It's not on the top of my mind, but do you have any name suggestions? Feel free to let me know. Most of the storage required from you, there's only a few megabytes at the moment, was from external libraries. And you might not want those external libraries. You might not want PHP Mailer. You might not want, I don't know, Hybrid or anything else like that. And if you don't want that functionality, why have it in there? You could add it at a later date, because in terms of the coding aspect, it's just a simple toggle now. You can just go into a config and just toggle it on and off, but then you can remove the library as well, so that helps save on storage space. So just making sure it doesn't break when you are, let's say, disabling a certain library. So that's what we was doing. Obviously, if you're trying to use that functionality, it won't work. That's obvious, but it shouldn't just like break, because certain aspects of the different classes did use these libraries, but we've just put essentially conditional statements around them. If it's enabled, then use it, and if it's enabled, it's assuming that the user hasn't removed it. By default, they won't be removed. We might create a vanilla version at some later stage, or what I would really like to do is create some sort of tool. I think it's like sort of like HTML5 boilerplate, where you can go on there, select a few different options, and you just generate the version based on your option. So if you select, let's say, 4 out of 5 libraries, you only got like 2 at the moment, external ones, but let's say if you select 4 out of 5 libraries, it'll generate it with that and have everything else disabled. So that'll be quite cool. Again, that's just for the future. So what we was working on last time, was going to get onto, was properly implementing error pages. So I'm just going to move it over here, then move it back so it, it's white again, so I can actually see it. SSO, aka single sign-on, and authorization was towards the bottom, but I'm bringing it up because 1, I need it for a website that I'm working on, and 2, I think it'd be good for the framework as soon as possible, because quite a lot of the other stuff are nice stuff, but I think this is like quite a major feature. And I'm actually move up the FAQ creator as well, so I'm gonna move this up as well, FAQ creator. So this probably wouldn't be that hard to do, but again, it's stuff that's common in websites, hence why it's there. Update frameworks, we're just gonna potentially update the frameworks. So yeah, properly implement error page for stuff like 404. So if we go onto the website now, let's make sure the audio is working. I've just got a new mic, haven't tested it with usually on OBS on the Mac, done video tutorials on Windows, and that was fine. Just gotta make sure the configuration's fine, but I'm just gonna tap the mic, so sorry. Yeah, seems there. Okay. So for example, this is home, and if I were to go to home/login, for example, takes me to this page, and if I were to type in something random, something that like a page that doesn't exist, it will take me to the home page, which happens to be this page here. So what we want is essentially a feature where you can, so I think I mentioned this on Trello. Yeah, so you can provide the user with a config option to enable this. So automatically it just goes to the home page of, let's say, so for example, we have home, type in this, it goes to the default page of home. If, for example, we go to, let's say, extras, extra, for example, then I type in something, and what else is in extra? I can't remember. Let's have a look. So if we go to extra, there's change log as well. So change log, that's fine. But if I were to just type in something that doesn't exist, it'll go to the default homepage that has been set, aka the index for extra. So if I were to type in index, even though there's no file there called index, it's been set up within our controller to go to policy by default. But if, let's say, we were to type in something here that wasn't valid, it will by default go to home, and that is set in app. So the default controller is home and the default method is index. So that's what it's falling back on. But what we want is essentially a toggle where you can either have it this method, so you'll always go to something, or it will give you like an actual error. Because if, for example, we're clicking on login and that's in index, we're using path to home login. So if I were to do something like that, for example, refresh, click it now, it just still provides the same result, because again we're just going to it. But what we want is, if it doesn't exist, we want something like a 404, you know, if there's some other problem, actually print out the error. So I think we need to deal with stuff in the app. So within the app section, so by default it's home. So let's say if I were to put extra here, like so, and if let's say I were to do this, so Sonar app, controller with namespace. That's weird. Apparently very weird. So if I do capital home, but I'm guessing, let's say if I were to change that here, that works fine. Okay, so for extra it doesn't work well. Maybe there's some other sort of conflict somewhere else, some sort of method. We'll work that out later. So yeah, this is by default what would happen. So let's run through it. Parses URL. If this exists, so for now, I'm just going to put an else. If it doesn't exist, echo hof, and I'm going to exit. So exit, so you can't actually do any more code. So hof, it goes into there. If, for example, this is valid, that's fine. So okay, so if it's an invalid, controller goes to here, and if the next URL, if this is invalid, it should go to here, and I'm going to put base, half base, could be like echo base, exit. Okay, and if I were to do that, it just echoed base. Oh yeah, it would never print off both because it got an exit actually. No, that's fine. So these two would indicate whether or not it's valid. So if it went into here, what we could do, could do. So where is this app being used? It's used within. Okay, so where would we have these error pages? We've got this error page of 404.php here, but I don't feel like that's the. I want to try something. Google 404 page. No, I actually want a 404 page. URL. I actually want the URL. What would happen if I would go into, let's say, Facebook and do that? This page isn't available. Okay. see what happens if we go into Twitter. Again, the same thing. It doesn't actually take you to a 404 page. It just displays something like that. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. So, if, for example, we were to go back to app, that's essentially, it's almost like what we're doing. It doesn't exist. What we could actually do is set for now. What we'll actually do is set the controller equal to basically what we've got here. But we're gonna manually just set it to forum. We're not gonna have error page for now. We're just gonna just direct it to like another page that we've already got. So forum, and this would be also forum. So forum, unset URL. I'm happy with that. Happy with that. Forum. Okay, what would happen now if I were to run this? So I want, no, okay, no, I want it. So home should work. That's moaning that we, if we have a capital F. I wonder if we have 2 forward slashes there. Okay. Weird. No, 1 second. Need to get this. Okay, so if it doesn't exist, it takes us to the forum page. If it does exist, it doesn't. That's good. What happens if it exists and the subpage doesn't exist? It just does this. So again, if let's say we were to essentially do the same thing, yes, and we're getting somewhere now. We are getting somewhere. Else, so within forum, we'll go to categories, general. So if you go to categories / general, see what happens now if we were to go to an invalid one. Let's say if we were to go to home and then an invalid method, it's moaning that. Or is it backslash maybe? $9.49. So this they doesn't like. Does not have a method categories. So if I go to forum, should be a method. It takes in a parameter. So if I go back to here, I would have set this. It wouldn't be something like this. That just seems too stupid. One second. Okay, so if for now it's okay, if instead we went to extra and then we went change log, so if we go back to here, change this to extra, change this to extra, I'm gonna put 2 forward slashes there, so if you did change it, it wouldn't matter if it was lowercase or not. Change this to change log. Change log. Class sonar. Need to set this here as well, otherwise it's not going to go to it. Then okay, so if I were to run that now, Sonar app extra not found on line 52. So Sonar app. I wonder. Yeah, it'll be to do with this. Again, sorry. So, because I'm doing this include stuff here. What would happen if I were to literally copy and paste this to here? That works. So for now, let's just keep it like this. What would happen if I did want to do the 4-in-1? You know, so to be able to pass in a variable. Just want to make sure I still know how to use the framework. Categories /general. Parameters, where are parameters? Probably be a parameter, I guess. Dollar this params $0 equals general. Not quite. Not. it tries to go there, for whatever reason it fails. So params, parameters. To be an array. Okay, so yeah, this is working the way we want it to, but it shows what we want on the page. So it doesn't do a redirect. It doesn't like change us to a different page, which is good, which is very good. I guess, unless we have a valid method, we shouldn't do anything with the parameters. So if we go into there, for example, go into there, yeah, it's working the way we want it to a bit more now. So it just seems like there's a bit of code that maybe doesn't need to be here. That's duplicated. For starters, this is the same, so we don't need this in here. So that's good. This is the same, so we can get rid of this. Okay, so obviously this is where we will just handle the error stuff, but for now I'm just trying to abstract out as much as we can. Like, don't want any unnecessary duplication. Yeah, that seems fine. Don't think we can really reduce that much more. Is this part here that I'm not a big fan of. The require, but we do need it. Okay, that's fine. Leave that for now. My next thing is, if for example you go to 404 page example, put on big websites, see if there's anything that we can find. These are just like design examples, which I'm sure they look very nice. Doesn't help us. Actually, see if I were to go into it. What would happen if let's just pick this random page. If we can't find that page, what I'm trying to figure out is, if we're on here on our website, and if for example we have a folder called errors in the views, and we go on and we were to, let's say, specifically just type in errors /404, for example, it would theoretically, this is technically out 404 at the moment, it would theoretically take us to that 404 page. And the problem I have with that is, if it's a problem at all, is that the user can explicitly access an error page, but maybe that isn't an issue. Doesn't really matter whether they type in errors 404. Yeah, I think for now it shouldn't be a problem. So let's just check time. 25 minutes. Okay, that's good. So what we're gonna do is create a folder called, because we had this error 404 here. At one point it was used. Google Recapture, that's another library we got. I thought we had 2, we got 3. So I'm trying to think where we used it. I think it might have been in the core, in it. Nah, it ain't a config. Miscellaneous, no. I'm positive that we used it somewhere. I think at one point we did. Actually, I think it's in one of the classes if I remember correctly. So let's go through them and have a look which one it would be. Input maybe, nope. That is definitely not miscellaneous. Path. Redirect. Redirect. So this was the one where you go to something. So let's just try and simulate that. So if I go to pre-show in the home, log in. If you're not logged in, or if you're logged in, it redirects you to the home page. If I do that, so if I go to login, I'm gonna say if you're not logged in for now, I guess. Yeah, I guess that error doesn't even get caught now because we are actually overwriting it. So for that reason, I think it might be time just to remove that out then. So if you go redirect, and if it's numeric, if location, so if I were to put 404 here, what if we were to put errors /404? Guess this doesn't work at all then now, so I'm actually going to remove this. Old code we don't need. Great thing about code repository like GitHub, we can revert it back, and I'll remove this errors page. So get rid of that. Now if we go back to where we was actually in the views, what we're going to do is create a folder called errors, and I always like to, I'll just create a new file first. So 404 actually, did they have the .php extension? Yes, it did, obviously. .php model, not models, we're not passing anything in. And now we would need a controller. Can I just duplicate one of these? No, not easily, not within here. So errors.php, I'll just duplicate extra, or copy and paste the code into here, change this to errors, change that to an index. I don't think it allows me to have numbers in there. I'm pretty sure it won't. Errors /404. This will be pretty sure that won't work. We'll find out in a second. If we go to app, instead of that we would have errors. We would have errors, and we would now have errors 404. So let me just try and, okay, yeah, it doesn't like that. Code 404 instead. So if I go back to errors, I type in code 404. That should be a valid method now. You just can't just have numbers. And there's nothing in there, it doesn't display it. So if we go to the errors file here, just type in We should have the header and footer as well, if I remember correctly. Yep, and at the bottom, don't you have all that? Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so now it's gonna say error code 404 page not found. So there we go, save it, refresh, so we got that now. And yes, that's our 404 page now. If we go back to home page, did not work. Actually, there's a problem. So if this file exists, URL 0, else if, yeah, that's going to be an issue. But what I'll do to fix it is first do an else if to check if there's actually anything there or not. So if it, you know, the empty method, I can't remember what it is, set. So if it's actually even set, I will type it fast before just type it in. URL 0. If it's not set, then what we're gonna do is don't need to do anything. So this would just be within the else if. So if it's actually set, then it's an incorrect one. Otherwise, you want to go to the default one. So if I go back onto it now, still load, that's fine. If I type in home, not home like that, home forum with a 2 G's at the end, error. If I type in home /login, login does not work. Why does login not work? I'm doing a redirecting login anyway. So if I go back to the login page, the view, I forgot to undo this. So login, that's a-okay now. So if I were to just do an incorrect one, 404 not found. If I were to do, what happens if I were to do login / yeah, I guess that's valid. We're not using the method, so yeah. Because that's it really for 404. Obviously, website error codes. Error codes to handle for my website. Obviously, you know, 404 is the basic one. Not found for whatever reason. Chances are you typed in something wrong or it doesn't exist anymore. But are there any other errors that really I should be handling at this point? 401 unauthorized. Ooh. So what would happen if, let's say, I go to Twitter, for example, and I go on to, let's say, onto Moment. So this is my stuff. Is it only relative to me or not? So it just takes us back to, a login page if we're not logged in. Okay, what errors do we have? Don't need that. So 400 bar request, this is basically an error from the web server telling you that the application you are using accessed incorrectly or that the request somehow corrupted on the way, blah blah blah. Forbidden. 500 internal server error. Apparently that's the biggest one. So actually these are sort of other ones like unauthorized or maybe even forbidden. Once we'll actually handle that on a case by case basis, sort of, obviously, because at the moment what we've done, we just redirect. So if you're not meant to be there, like that for example, we just redirect. So we could redirect to the login page, for example, if you're not meant to be there. Okay, that's fine. Happy with that. So now let's go to Trello. I can remove this from the notes. Apparently I must be signed in. I thought I was signed in. And time 36 minutes, so good. Yeah, save that bad boy. So edit this. So that's good. And that is now complete. Actually, should I be concerned with where I put it? I have to put it wherever, really. The only other one thing, should I comment this page? Don't really need to comment much in here. I'll just comment here. If the view/page does not exist, show 404 error page checks if a URL was set, if a controller was specified, and if I were to go directly to this, for example, so errors, by default goes there. If I go to code 404, it goes there. If I type in that, technically it's actually going back to here. So yeah, that's good stuff. But the only one thing now, actually, if I were to go to home, that's good. Before, the way we had it was, okay, so I want this to be conditional. So in the config, in one of the configs, if we go to here, it should be a website config. Okay, should I create a new config for this? Does it warrant? Because in here, at the moment, like the config that I want to do is, if this, method of error checking is enabled, then we would do it. If not, we have the old method where it just takes you back to either the home page, like the index page of that controller, or it takes you back to the home controller. So you might not want the 404 system. That's, fine. That's totally up to you. But I want that option in the framework. So should I have it in the website config or not? Because I was thinking about having like an errors config. I'm going to have an errors config because I do want a more advanced error system later on. errors_config.php, and I'll just copy and paste this into here. Change this to errors. If errors, should I say enabled, or what would it be called? HTTP, no, code page, is code page enabled, is code pages enabled. Okay, that's pretty decent. So now if I go back to the app, is there anything I config already in here? No, so I'll get it from somewhere else. No, yeah, it's definitely user, so I'll get it from the user class. So I'll copy this into app, and here I'll enclose this into this like so. So if errors, I can't remember what that, it was something like, is code pages enabled? Is code pages enabled? So if I go back to app, copy that. Okay, so if I were to go on line 46, and I'm guessing if I were to put an invalid controller, you'll do line 23. 1 second. Okay, so it's moaning. I'm guessing because you can't get config. It's not in that namespace, I forgot. How do you change that namespace again? Let's have a look. So I forgot to use that. Hybrid should actually be hybrid. Hybrid off / at the start. So if I go back to app, / I mean, so this will go to like the top level, refresh, and if I were to just do a correct one, incorrect, I haven't updated this one yet. Sonar, refresh, correct, that's fine. For general, it doesn't like that for some reason. Is it because of that? Yes, it's because of that. But I don't see what's the issue with that. Could put it outside of there and have it enclosed, but why would that mess it up? The URL is set. Okay, so I'm going to put that outside and say if nope. So that means you can't just have, at the moment you can't just pass in stuff. So if I go to general, okay, it doesn't like that anymore now. guy needs to be in here. So general, ask for features, updated. Okay, so go back, forum, that's fine. If I type in something incorrect, if I type in categories general, if I type in incorrect method, that's fine, this redirects me anyway because I checked I've got in a separate view anyway. Okay, so now if I were to go to this over here, if I were to go to the errors config and change this to a false and refresh. So if I were to go to home, works fine. If I go to something like that, this takes me to home. It's good. If I go to login, takes me to the correct one. And if I take me to that, just takes me home. So yeah, now we can enable it, disable it as we please. I'm gonna have it enabled. It's great for debugging, so I can actually see is I typed in the wrong URL, is the wrong code like page displaying what is happening. So yeah, I'm gonna have it enabled for now. But again, that's more of a, like a personal preference. That's not really obviously it's sort of, you can use the other debugging tool, but it's more just for the way you want your website to behave for the user. So if you want it with error pages, you do it, you have it as true. If you don't want it, then you have it as false. Okay, almost 50 minutes now. So yeah, the next thing is gonna be SSO off. Is there anything else of higher priority at the moment? No, it's gonna be SSO off. This could be a pretty meaty section. So I'm gonna pretty much wrap it up for now. I need to commit to GitHub, so I'll do that. So GitHub. And then we'll just quickly talk about what SSO is, examples of it, and then we'll wrap up. So now if I go to PHP Web Framework, sync it. Okay, so if I go to applications, XAMPP right at the bottom, htdocs, PHP Web Framework, copy that into documents, GitHub, web, PHP Web Framework, the code folder, and if I get rid of all of this, paste this bad boy here, 10 uncommitted changes. It looks like these are the changes that we were making today. And okay, this seems to be good. Yeah, that's fine. I was just like, if it's removed that and there's like an opening, what the hell's going on? But remove that and the opening is sort of, you know, that one there. Let's say okay, so I want to make sure everything's good. This is actually from Okay, so I remember I did make certain changes to the stuff online, and I'd rather not overwrite them. So what I want to do is go to applications, XAMPP, htdocs. So the things that we definitely need to copy over app, let's do classes. Let's do DB backups, let's do public, libs, templates, elements maybe. Yeah, it's just the core stuff. Okay, we need the core stuff as well. So for now, copy all of this apart from core over. one like so. Make sure this is the right one, so that's the GitHub one. Okay, now that's that done. In core, I'm gonna add the errors config, and now, okay, there's only 8 files I've changed. The other ones, the other 2 were related to just some extra frameworks that I added, like Bootstrap, and I'm just making sure there was a / at the end of the link styles, header includes stuff. Okay, so day 30 code commit, and today was just just error code pages. Sync. What I'm actually going to do now is the one that is on GitHub. I'm actually going to replace the code on WordPress with that one. This could go wrong. I believe it's bigger because if I go to core libs to include, I included the Bootstrap alpha. If I refresh, yeah, that's just why. Yeah, I'll leave the alpha one. I'm happy with that. Okay, so good. Make sure. Yep, that's all good now. And we have that. We've copied all of this over. Okay, we can start discussing the next part of this series, which is going to be SSO, which is single sign-on. And for example, if I were to go into google.com, or let's say Gmail, as you can see, I'm signed in. If I wasn't signed in, I were to sign into my Google account, it actually takes you to a page called accounts.google.com, and on here is, you can't see it at the moment because I've logged in. But if I wasn't logged in, that's what you would see. You would see like a login page. But if I were to go into YouTube, for example, I'm logged in. If I go on Gmail, for example, I'm logged in. If I go into like the developer pages, I'm logged in. Basically anything within the Google branding, Google websites, I'm logged in. So I'm not talking about social login. I'm talking about just like within, it's almost like a company brand login. That's what we want to implement. So if let's say you're on Sonar Learning. So Sonar Learning, I'm logged in, and if I were to click login, I'm logged in at the moment, but if I click login, instead of you taking you to like a Sonar Learning login page, what I want to do is take you to something like accounts.sonarsystems.co.uk, and get an error page because, well, it doesn't exist. But when you take you to like a Sonar Systems login page, and then on that you log in, it would redirect you back to the page you was just on. But if you were to go to Sonar Systems, you'll be logged in. Sonar Learning, you'll be logged in. If you were to go to another Sonar domain, you'll be logged in. So that's essentially what we want to do. So if anyone's got any suggestions, I had a look at some frameworks. They seemed okay, but I'm going to try and implement it myself. Probably going to go terribly wrong, but it's going to try. So if anyone's got any suggestions, any sort of links they've got, or any ways of doing it, let me know. So what we want to do is have a primary domain and then slave domain. So master and slave. And if, let's say, you don't want that system, you would just use the master aspect of it. So that would provide you with what you have now. If you use the master and the slaves would link up with your master. Probably going to have some sort of like client system. And what we'll have is like, we'll ourselves just have, let's say, a client ID and a client secret, the way a lot of websites do, a lot of platforms, and you put that onto your master website into the database, and you put that onto a slave website as well, so the client ID and the client secret. When that website tries to do something with your login system, you'll check the ID and the secret. If that is a valid ID and secret, then it will only allow you to, do something there. So yeah, it's gonna be probably the next few videos, and really looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and leave us a comment. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I will see you in day 31. I will definitely make sure it's not left as long as it was last time. Thank you for watching.